Hi everybody, Dr. Jo Messenger here. Thanks for tuning in again. We've already started our journey together talking about how we incarnated onto the planet, how we packed into our suitcases everything that's right for us in each particular incarnation, and how that fits in with other people and the lines of longitude, the lines of latitude, and our proximity and our geography in the planet. And we've also delved deeper into the structure of the Master Diamond Blueprints, where we fit inside our multi-dimensional blueprints that have the structure for our spiritual lessons, for our karmic responsibilities, for our beliefs, for the things that we think, the way that we think, the way that we feel, and what we do with our physical bodies, and what we do with the gifts, tools, talents and abilities that are available to us individually as a part of the collective. And today, where we're going next is into the sacred geometry of your Master Diamond Blueprint, and how that has potentially changed depending on who you are and what you have or haven't done in this particular incarnation right here, right now. So let's have a fresh page, so to speak, turn a page from where we've been into where we're going, and have a deeper look at this structure. So we've got a happy little Vegemite gingerbread man, and in our Master Diamond Blueprint for this lifetime, and for all of the lifetimes actually, the equator, this could be a little bit more accurate. I'm a bit of a stickler for accuracy with some things, so I'm going to get another page, because part of this can be really useful for you if I do it correctly. So let me do the diamond first. And life is like this. If you make a mistake, just redo it. Now, the reason why I'm redoing this is because this particular line here is called the conquential line. The conquential line. It's a bit like the equator for the Earth. Now, one might think it would be logical to have as many energy centres below the conquential line as above the conquential line. And in an ideal world, that is perhaps correct. It's just not how it is at the moment. Because as human beings in the journey of the great civilizations, we've repeatedly often gone to great heights and then crashed and burned and fallen from grace. So there are imbalances in our sacred geometry right from when we're born, because of our past histories, because of our civilization histories, and also to make sure that we change things up in this lifetime. Because if everything was balanced, then we might not even recognise that, well, we wouldn't need to change anything because it's balanced. But when there is an imbalance, it forces us to course correct. Well, it forces some people to course correct, and it triggers other people to dig their heels in and go, I'm not doing that, why should I even participate? and just turn to addictions or lower vibrational thoughts, emotions and lifestyle choices. So this consequential line in our current physical bodies for the first part of most of our adult lives, for the people of my generations and younger, this consequential line, this equator, was through the sacroiliac joint area of the spine, where your dimples are at the back. Now, anatomically, this is really, 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 really relevant, because those two sacroiliac joints are the structural support for the upper part of your body, for your spine. If there's an imbalance between the left and the right sacroiliac joint, then this consequential line shifts and you haven't got a nice symmetrical master diamond blueprint anymore. You've got a distortion. So if you are out of balance in your physical body at the sacroiliac joints, if you're out of balance between your feminine and your masculine, if you're out of balance between your intuition and your logic, then your consequential line shifts, and then everything in your master diamond blueprint has to adapt. Do you follow me? So it's really important for you to keep this consequential line balanced, keep it level. So whether you do that through your life situation, equal masculine, equal feminine, equal rest, equal work, equal intuition, equal logic, whether you go to the chiropractor to get this sorted out, any which way, it's really important for you to have this particular part balanced. Otherwise, it's kind of like you're in survival all the time rather than thriving. Okay. I'm not actually going to put the gingerbread man you in there, because I've already highlighted to you that some of my artistic skills, there's room for improvement, and this consequential line is here. Now, in your connection, in your main line of energy that connects you to all there is of you, to all of your gifts, tools, talents and abilities and experiences from previous incarnations, and also to your original source energy, to where you emanated from, the creator energy. The reminder. This main line of energy connects you to all of that. And to the right, you have a division of this energy, which is the masculine line of energy, the Pingala line of energy for the yogi people. And to the left, you have the feminine line of energy, the Ida, the intuition. And we'll actually go into more specifics with this in the next video. And one thing at a time. So on this main line of energy, it connects you back to your creative energy, to your source energy, and to all there is of you. And we have this same structure. It's like fractals. The same sacred geometry, just applied differently to different areas. So if you can understand that this needs to be balanced so that your internal world is balanced, the rest of what I'm going to do here is going to make a whole lot more sense. So with the energy centers, you have, historically, we've had 7. So let's do it like this. So 7 main energy centres. The root centre, the sacral centre, the solar plexus centre, the heart centre, throat centre, third eye and crown. And each of these energy centres has this same fractal sacred geometry. So for instance, the root centre, the root energy centre, has the same diamond structure. And if that root centre, if the equator for that centre is off balance, then this is the foundation for everything. If this is off balance, it affects everything else. The root centre is your direction. Where are you going? What are you doing? Who are you doing it with? How long are you going to do it for? This is your money. This is your stability, obviously, because if this is unstable, then your life is unstable. It's your sense of security. And it can be easily disrupted by fear. By worry, by stress. The next centre, the sacral centre, so again, same sacred geometry, the same multidimensional structure. Now, you can see where I'm going here, right? All of these structures are the same. And when we are thriving in the relevance of these centres, let's go a little bit deeper before that. So the sacral centre is your creativity. It's the ovaries, the uterus, the testes, the prostate. This is where you create from. This is your divine sexuality. If this is out of balance, then your ability to create is out of balance. So if you're reckless with your sexual energy, it will upset your ability to create. The next one, let's just keep going. Solar plexus, this is your personal power. Solar means sun. This is your ability to shine. This is your charisma. This is your ability to get things done. And shame, not feeling good enough, disrupts this. Guilt disrupts this. Fear disrupts this. Shame, not feeling good enough, disrupts this. Heart centre. Brilliant. Heart centre, your ability to give and receive love. It's upset by disappointment, by unforgiveness, by judgment, by betrayal, by heartbreak, by loss, by grief. Next one, throat centre. Your ability to express yourself, to sing, to write, to say poetry. Your ability to hear clairaudiently, all in the throat chakra. Third eye, your ability to connect outside of yourself to the higher energies. Let's do one more and then backtrack to this. So the crown is your ability to connect to all there is of you. All there is of you. Your third eye is your ability to connect to all there is of everything. So your crown chakra is like you have access to everything that's in your computer. All of the files, all of the experiences, all of the lessons, the gifts, tools, talents, abilities and power. Your third eye is your ability to plug into the Wi-Fi and the World Wide Web and beyond. Your third eye is the ability to connect into all of the lessons from all of the civilizations, all of the gifts, tools, talents, abilities and power. So this is where responsibility comes in. If we all do, we have the ability to connect into the great libraries. What have you done with that knowledge in the past, and what will you do with that knowledge in the future? And this is where in our current lifetime, there are some safeguards, because throughout the civilizations, so famously Atlantis, for instance, thrived, and then there was a misuse of power. People were delving into other people's gifts that they did not have permission to do. They were manipulating the energies for their own aggrandizement rather than for the greater good. And the whole civilization fell. So at the moment, there are safeguards in place so that only the people who have the intention for purity, for working with the greater good, have the key to the lock, the access to all that there is. And there's always exceptions to the rule, right? There are some people currently incarnate who have had great abilities, great power in the past, and haven't always used that power wisely. So they have been given the key and the lock to some of these abilities so far to see if they will be responsible with that power in this lifetime. Will they use it for their own aggrandizement, or will they use it for the greater good? And so if you can see around you in the world at the moment, there's a lot of people who didn't pass that test. They had great power. They had great abilities. They had wealth and the cars, the big homes, the entourage, etc., etc. And for the ones that misuse their power, then they're falling from grace right now. You follow me? So, all of the energy centers need to be kept stable. They need to be even. They need to be balanced. They need to be equal in masculine and feminine to a degree. And we will go in a future video into where that might not be the case also. Because it's truth and further truth, isn't there? Some things are true in some situations and other things can be true in other situations. But for the purpose of your health, your wealth, your stability, your ability to tap into your higher self, to tap into your own gifts, tools, talents and abilities, so that you don't have to relearn everything from scratch again, so you can just tap into your own library and bring those gifts into your incarnation now. For that purpose, all of this needs to be stable and balanced. So now that you know that, and you kind of did already, I'm just reminding you, then you can put some attention onto that to get balance into your life, to get balance into your money, to balance your expenditure and your income, to get balance into your sexuality, to give and receive inappropriate connections, not be completely reckless, to balance your personal power, to use it for your own betterment and the betterment of others. Not just give for everybody else and empty your own tank, and not just give to yourself at the expense of everybody else. To give and receive love equally, for the heart, for the throat, to express yourself when it's appropriate, with the right words, with the right sounds, and to zip it, to be quiet when it's not appropriate. The third eye, to connect into all that there is when it's appropriate, when you're in your sacred space, and to shut down when it's not appropriate. At the supermarket, at the bank, at the train station, at the busy places, at the dirty energy places. And the crown chakra to connect into your own innate wisdom, to have that personal connection between your innate intelligence, your inborn intelligence, and the universal intelligence that is completely unique to you and your unique frequency. Now this is where there's a change up. So for the people of my generation and before, and to a couple of generations after, this is how it was when we were born. And things have changed. Now, it's no surprise that the children now are different. The children now are being born, all of them now are being born with actually, I'm just going to talk with one extra energy center below. This is called the Earth Star Chakra. Or the Earth Star Center. And an extra one above the crown, which is the Soul Star. So this means that all of the children being born now, all of them, their master diamond blueprints are bigger, their suitcases are bigger, they have packed more knowledge, skills, learnings, experiences into their suitcase from their birth than what all of the rest of us have. Now, around about the time of the harmonic convergence, 1987 give or take, this is when the beginnings of the extra chakras, the extra energy centers came in to our personal master diamond blueprints. So for the likes of me, and potentially you, depending on your age, we have had to learn through life experiences. We've had to work some things out for ourselves, where we were taught things that weren't true, where we were taught things that were inappropriate. Like, just as an example, big religion, for a long time, the big religions taught male domination. There weren't even female cardinals, female popes, female in the hierarchies of the great religions. And now a lot of those great religions are gradually allowing the equality of the females in their systems. Okay, so around about that time, around about 1987 was when this change started to happen. And for the people who have been consciously sorting out what is true for them now, what is true for you now compared to what you've been taught and what you innately know for yourself. And it doesn't mean throw everything that you've been taught out. It means be discerning. Keep what works, keep what still works, ditch the rest. And integrate into your personal belief systems, into your personal philosophy, into the way that you live your life, what is true for you now. So when you do that, you can activate these two extra chakras, these two extra energy centers in your own multi-dimensional blueprints for your body. So you can grow from the seven system, the system of 7, to the system of 9. So for myself, I had to work at it. I had to listen to my intuition, and this is relevant. I'm saying this because it's potentially relevant to you. Had to listen to my intuition instead of what I was taught. My life got very derailed for years because I was still listening to other people and what I had been taught, when intuitively it wasn't right for me. So I'm not doing that anymore. Now I live by my intuition and my logic to back it up, rather than living by other people's logic, which usually had an agenda, and trying to force my intuition to fit into that paradigm, to try and force my heart to agree with what the brain was telling it. Now it's a flip. The goalposts have moved. Now it's going by my intuition and then using my brain to put the steps in place that support what my intuition has told me to do or to not do, in which case you don't do it. The children that are here now are different. They automatically know things that we didn't used to know, and that the people who've done their extra work and activated their 2 extra centres, what they now also know, such as we need to look after the planet, we need to look after the waterways, we need to look after each other. Compared to the people who are still hanging on for dear life to the old paradigm that, well, yes, we'll do that as long as it doesn't mean we have to lose any money or power or status or land or women or men or entourage or approval. So where are you in all of this? If you've got children, if you've got young children and teenagers, you already know where they are. They're ahead of the game. They've got 9. They're functioning from at least 9 on their main energy centres. And are you grounded? Are you aligned with the planet? Have you activated that part of your energy field? Have you activated that bottom part of your energy field? Are you an activist? Are you a personal activist for yourself? Are you an activist for the planet? Have you activated this? And have you activated your soul star energy center, your connection to your soul? Have you activated your commitment to live your soul purpose rather than your ego purpose? Because that's a clue. And when you have done this, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen if you do it. If you have done this, there are parts of your life that may have changed or be in the process of changing quite significantly, because each of these energy centers resonates to a letter of the alphabet. So they're aligned with these triangles. They're aligned with an energy center. They're aligned with an endocrine organ. They're aligned with a neurological plexus. They are aligned with an emotion, positive and negative. They're aligned with a musical note, a sound. They're aligned with a color. So for instance, in the past we were taught red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. That was true back then. It's not true now. Now people are growing at their own pace or refusing to grow at all or somewhere in between. So these can be any and all sorts of colour now. So when you are starting to pay attention to the lesson, to the learning of a particular energy centre, it might get really bright. And then as you become more enlightened, as you gain more light, it becomes more pastel. And you can see this in clothing. Some people wearing really bright colours when they're at the beginning of a particular journey, wherever that is, and then start wearing more pastel colours or even white. Where is that for you? And it's not about engineering it, it's about acknowledging who you are, where you're at, and where you would like to go from wherever that is that you're at now. So each of the energy centres also resonates to a letter of the alphabet. So for instance, A, B, C, D. A resonates to 1, B to 2, C to 3, D to 4, and so on throughout the alphabet. You know, when we get to 9, it starts again at A. So 1 and 10 are both, let's draw it. Okay, so all of these letters resonate to 1. All of these letters resonate to 2. All of these letters resonate to 3, and so on and so on and so on. And just by coincidence, there's 26 letters in the English or Arabic alphabet, Arabic numerals, whatever this is. And with the levels of energy as you come out from the centre of your body, there's 26 levels of those. So just as where I'm coming from is the letters of your name that you were born with resonate to these. So if you've got a bunch of 1s in your name from birth, you've got a bunch of strength in your first energy centre. If you've got a bunch of 2s of BKT in your name, you've got a lot of strength in your second centre, and so on. If you don't have these letters in your name at birth, then there's a weakness from birth in that particular area of your Master Diamond Blueprint, and therefore that's what you need to build up and strengthen in your daily life so that you keep it stable, so that you can build it up. Now here's the thing, when you get the extra activations of the extra energy centre at the bottom and the top, all of this shifts. Instead of these letters matching the root centre, they now match the Earth Star Centre. And instead of these letters, see, there's forward planning from the higher councils as 12, because in the past, with the 7 system, these letters all went into the appropriate energy centres, and these letters were squished into this one. And now, for the people that are functioning on a 9 system, now these letters are coming in here. And it can get quite tricky because For thousands of years, we've talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So with the children that are here now and the people that have activated these 2 extra centres, is this now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Because then it gets tricky talking between the 2 systems. It's tricky talking between beta and VHS. It's tricky talking between digital and analog. It's tricky talking between wave and particle. It can be tricky talking between feminine and masculine. So for the time being, it's convenient to keep referring to these as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and just name these by Earth star and Soul star rather than confusing the whole numeric reference points. But the point I'd like to make is that if you have gone through activating your Earth star centre and you've gone through respect for the planet, and if you've gone through activating your soul star centre, having respect for divinity and your soul purpose, then the allocation of your name, strengths and weaknesses will be in a different place. So your strengths and weaknesses might be really different now to what they were back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. And you might look different, you might sound different, and rightly so, because you have activated more of your multi-dimensional master diamond blueprint, and you now have access to more that you've ever been before, and you now, assuming you use your gifts and your abilities wisely for the benefit of all, not just to get more power, more money, more approval, then you will have the key in the lock to access more of the higher dimensions. And the way to assist that is through your heart. Most people are really good thinkers already. Sweeping statement. And the way forward now for the likes of you and I is through our heart. To open our hearts, regardless of how much betrayal, heartbreak, grief, loss, injustice we've incurred, or witnessed being incurred on others and haven't had the courage to step in and do something about it. Regardless of our histories and our experiences, we have to heal our hearts. We have to fill our hearts with love. We have to give our hearts the things that it needs. We have to give our hearts the safety to be able to feel, to have respect for the intuition, and to, within ourselves, within yourself, when you have an intuition, it's imperative that you acknowledge it and act on it. Otherwise, why would it keep giving you intuitions? If you keep giving good advice to somebody and they don't listen, at some point you've just got to stop giving them advice. Stop wasting your time and energy. Same with your intuition. If you don't listen to the good advice of your intuition, why would it keep giving you intuition? Where is this relevant for you? If you've got children or grandchildren, they are way ahead. That does not mean let them run riot. That does not mean let them do whatever they like, eat whatever they like, behave however they like. You've got the wisdom to set the parameters to keep them safe, to keep them with good manners, to keep them healthily disciplined, to nourish them with correct food, so that they can use their extra gifts with purity and with wisdom. With yourself, have you got more work to do with respecting the purity of the planet? Have you got more work to do with surrendering to the wisdom of your soul, to your spiritual heritage? That doesn't mean lock yourself into a religion that doesn't support where you're going. It means take the positive, take the good, take the morality of the teachings and apply it to what you know personally. Alrighty. In the next video, let's talk more about our inner masculine, our inner feminine, and then in future videos, so from in that video, we'll talk about the relevance of our blueprints from right and left. And then after that, we can talk about the relevance with respect to from top to bottom, and with our connection with the elements, the earth, air, fire and water, which can sometimes match the astrology and sometimes it doesn't, because sometimes it's about the lessons and sometimes it's about the things you've already mastered. So we'll go further and further and further into how this is relevant to you and what you can do, what you need to do in your everyday life, and what we need to stop doing in our everyday life to line up this better and better, to eventually get the balance back between top and bottom, as well as left and right, as well as front and back, so that you can master yourself, so that you don't have to keep repeating the same lessons, so the civilizations don't have to keep blossoming and imploding, disappearing, and have to start again and again and again. Let's build on what we already know. What do you know is true for you now? What used to be true that isn't any longer? Be prepared to let that go and embrace where you're going. See you in the next one.